Tanks. They take the brunt of the abuse for your team, and occasionally from your team as well. Tanks in general have a bit of a misconception about them, being the unbreakable front line of your team, and if you die, it's because the tank wasn't tanking well enough. Well, actually, the fault is fairly mutual. I'm going to be speaking from the point of view of a Reinhardt main, since there are really only two main tanks in the game, Zarya and Reinhardt, and I can already feel the animosity from that last statement building.
No way, there are 5 heroes in the tank section. You're clearly an idiot and I hate you now.
Easy there, let's quickly explain. Winston is a flanker, meant to pick off squishies and be a general pain. D.Va, though she does have a useful shield, it has a very short duration, and she is far more suited as an enemy harasser per se. And Roadhog, well, stand in enemy fire for 2 seconds, and you'll see how fast his 600 HP disappears. Now, as briefly mentioned before, I'm a Reinhardt main, and I come across this a lot. And this is that lots of people think that your sole duty is to simply hold up a shield and take the damage. Though this is true to a point, his shield is a big part of his hero. There are quite a few variables that make playing a tank far more challenging than it may appear. The thing about Reinhardt, in particular, is that he is completely reliant on his team. If the enemy is left unchecked, a Reinhardt is about as vulnerable as a new user on Reddit trying to vocalize his opinion. Now, I can hold up my 2000 HP shield and protect you for as long as possible, but it goes down extremely fast if the DPS is not pulling their own weight, and that puts the tank in a difficult position. Do you keep standing there, going through shield after shield, while none of the enemy team is dying? Or do you go partially on the offense, taking the enemy team by surprise, and possibly changing the flow of the match? But with most things, there is a time and a place for that. The second you drop your shield, you're leaving your whole team open to attack. So, if you're charging in only to get melted in half a second, you'll not only have to do the Reinhardt walk of shame back to your team, but you might not even have a team to shamefully walk back to. Your whole team has to be at least somewhat in sync and mindful of each other. The DPS needs to be keeping those speedy harassers slash flankers off of the tank and the healer, and off of oxygen in general if possible, all while being a form of crowd control so the tank doesn't get overwhelmed and rushed. Our job as tanks is to be the big shiny pair of keys being jingled in front of the enemy that buys the damage dealers time to do damage. I've been on far too many matches where the whole team is sticking together. I'm soaking up the damage as Reinhardt, healer's healing, DPS is deking in and out of cover behind my shield for some reason, but everything is going peachy and we catch the point. Only to have most of the team, at the next point, abandon the tank and go off chasing a Tracer or a Genji, leaving the saddled Reinhardt and the healer alone against 4 or 5 of the enemy team. Needless to say, it usually doesn't go well. Now, I don't want to be completely one-sided in this. Sometimes your team is doing great, but it's simply being outplayed by the enemy team. It happens. My goal here is to point out that there are 2 sides of every coin. Calling the tank bad or complaining about how they're playing without any self-reflection of what you may have done wrong is not helping anybody improve. I could ramble on more about this, but no one wants this to be a 15-minute long video, so I will end it here. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more, and feel free to hit that like button if you agree. I'll leave a link below to a great Reddit post that touches on many things I may not have had time to mention in this video. With that said, this has been Inurbane, and I will catch you next time.